Hello and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price, who is the first African American to be elected to that office in the history of this county. Pamela, we indicated that we were going to talk a little bit more about enhancements and what are they and how they work, because I believe that that has been one of the real issues that you've been accused of ignoring.
Mm-hmm. I'm not ignoring enhancements. I'm very familiar with
Okay.
enhancements.
Okay.
The Commission on Sentencing that was convened by the governor in 2017 looked at enhancements and all of the sentencing in California. Former Governor Jerry Brown, someone you're very familiar with, he testified in front of the commission that we need to get rid of all enhancements. The studies have found that the sentencing structure in California is imbalanced. And when you look what an enhancement does, it adds an additional sentence to an already long sentence. Mm-hmm. For instance, homicides. When we charge people with homicide under Penal Code Section 187, depending on the degree, they're facing anywhere from 15 years to life to 25 years to life. Sometimes where we've seen it, and this is what the Sentencing Commission found, where someone was convicted perhaps of second-degree murder or involuntary manslaughter, and they got a sentence of 15 years to life. Then because there was an enhancement added by the district attorney, which was routinely done by the prior administration, that added 25 years to life. So while the legislature had determined that the penalty for the crime should be 15 years to life, with this enhancement, it became 40 years to life. So the enhancement became more of a sentence than the original crime. And SB 81, which was sponsored by our very own Senator Nancy Skinner, which passed last year and the governor signed it, SB 81 directs judges to strip out enhancements. And so there's been a steady movement really starting since 2015. If you look back at the work of Senator Holly Mitchell and the work of now Secretary of State Shirley Weber during the time she was in the Assembly, those legislators worked tirelessly to try to reform the harsh penalties that enhancements reflect in the criminal justice system, recognizing that those longer sentences were not serving public safety, they're racially biased, and they're costing us money.
Okay. Can you explain to our viewers, in general, what you consider when you're charging a case? I know DAs have extraordinary powers in terms of deciding to charge and not charge. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to our viewers some of the things that you consider?
Well, first, your viewers should know I don't charge. I'm the district attorney, so that's not actually my job. I have 35 deputies who work across the county. We have 7 locations that have charging deputies. We have charging deputies at the Family Justice Center, at the East County Hall of Justice, at the Wiley Manuel Hall of Justice, at the Renee C. Davidson Hall of Justice, at the Fremont Hall of Justice, and at the Juvenile Justice Center. So they are doing what they have been trained to do every day. And they follow a common standard, which applies to all district attorneys. They should not charge a case unless they believe that a judge or a jury will find the person guilty of that charge beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the fundamental basic standard that every charging deputy is supposed to follow.
Yeah, but they ultimately report to you, and whatever they charge, you are ultimately accountable.
No, most of the charges, I am ultimately accountable, but we charged 7,600 people in the first 8 months. I did not review 7,600 charges as part of my daily job. People think I'm sitting at a desk with a big red phone waiting on a charge, and that's not how it works. I'm an administrator of agency, a large government agency.
How many
I have 400
deputy
employees.
DAs are there?
150 deputy DAs.
And
we have about 35 across the county. They don't require my day-to-day supervision. We have a chain of command. By the time a charge comes to me, and only particular charges come to me because we establish guidelines for charging, They've already
So,
undergone
so,
3 or
so,
4
uh,
levels.
so many cases are charged that you don't even see because you have guidelines that they use in order to do their job. Is that correct?
That's where we try to establish guidelines for the most serious
Right.
crimes. Those that there's lots and lots of charges and crimes that aren't impacted by the special directive that we issue, and therefore I don't see those charges.
Yeah, but you may not see them, but
Oh yeah,
they are.
I hear
They
about it
are
on the news. They did this, they
exactly.
charged that, or there's a plea bargain, and most of the time it's not within my purview because these are seasoned, experienced prosecutors. Some of them have been there for decades. They're doing what they've been trained to do and what they committed to do to protect public
And
safety.
public safety, that which
Mhm.
is so important. Now,
Yeah.
what are some of the factors that you may, as DA, consider when charging defendants who are accused of serious crime?
I am under the same mandate. If I were going to charge someone, which again, that's not what I do on a daily basis, but if I were going to charge someone, I would look at the police report, I would look at the facts of the case, and I would look at the person's prior criminal history. And then I would look at the different charges that are available to me. And I would only charge, if I were doing it, I would only charge a charge that I believe a judge or a jury can find that person guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that means I have to make a real assessment about what evidence there is. Is the video clear? Is there more than eyewitness testimony? Do we have DNA? There's a lot of questions that go
So a
into,
lot of factors go into the charging process. Don't touch that remote.
yes.
We'll be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is District Attorney Pamela Price.